So I know you're like, okay, enough of that. We already heard enough. We don't care. It's just another podcast. You're like, I'm number one with the Brick King podcast. I don't want to, I'm just kidding. This is News on a Tues, of course, but it is News on a Tues, and today we have news to talk about. There's always news going on, so this new segment is dedicated to news. News is all of the things that Lego puts out that you may not see, that fly under the radar, and you're like, oh, check that out. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, you have a lot of those moments where you're like, wow. Yeah, oh my God, yeah. So that's what this is. Today, we're going to talk about a few things, but one thing in specific is LegoCon 2021. So you have already heard, maybe you already saw it on the internet, on Twitter, on all the other social medias. Twitter's like the only real one. The rest are like make-believe, but you saw it on social media. You're like, TwitterCon, it's not a glow brick. It's not a light brick. No, it's not a light brick. And the fact that so many people thought that the icon that was teased was a light brick cracked me up, because I'm like, they have no idea. You had no idea. But with that said, what is going on with LegoCon? It is happening June 26th. You need to make sure that you are around your computer or computing device between 6 and 8 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, which is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or for me, like 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's just a hot mess, right? So what is going on? There's a whole bunch of different things. They're talking about different lines as far as city, as far as dots and friends and Harry Potter and ideas and Minecraft and Ninjago and Star Wars and Super Mario and Technic video. There's all kinds of different things. There's also going to be you didn't hear this from me. Shh. There's going to be a special guest. Yes, a special guest in Llama. Did I spell it right? Llama? Anyway, from video, you're going to see him or her. Going to be able to see them perform, do their thing or whatever. They're going to have a special opportunity to be able to come and, see what's going on. And, you'd be like, oh my God, I know. I built you. All that kind of cool stuff, right? That's what this is about. It's meant to be fun. So it's a live show. And if you are there, you get to see brand new models, different challenges. You get to watch live building challenges with special guests. Yeah, like the one I talked about. And you can become a part of the Lego house history, leaving your personal mark inside the home of the brick. Your personal mark. The live stream kicks off with a pre-show for AFOLs, adult fans of Lego, inspiration before moving into the jam-packed run of show, where attendees can immerse themselves in live virtual activities and conversations with other fans from around the globe as they experience different things, like I'd mentioned. VIP to behind-the-scenes access, different builds, live building, official reveals, and other opportunities to engage with Lego designers and other presenters. So at the end of the day, is this something where you're like, oh my God, I have to be in here. You might want to be in here. And at the end of the day, that may be something that you're like, wow, that was so cool. And I might agree with you, except I already know. So with this opportunity, hopefully this turns out well. This is basically a test run. Lego was trying to figure out, is this going to work? Is it not? Can we do this in the future? Can we not? I hope it goes well, because in the future, there are going to be a lot of things that can come forth with this. This can be the public's version of recognized Lego fan media like myself. That can be like one of those 2 days. It can be that opportunity where a designer comes on, where other people come on, where they're not going to give you things that are under an embargo or an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement. They're not going to give you that kind of stuff, but it's an opportunity to be able to interact with people. I just hope one thing in specific happens, and that is the platform holds up, because we've seen what happens when the Lego website is tested with a release of something hot. People are like, oh my God, I gotta have it. And it just gets overloaded. Now, I'm not saying that is going to be the case at all. I don't think that's going to be the case. And the people that are running this, when I had my opportunity to talk to them and get out questions and stuff like that, they said, no, we are ready to go. We are ready to handle whatever audience pops in. Now, if 7 billion people were to pop in, I guarantee you they're not ready to handle that. I don't think we're going to see that, but I will be curious to see what the numbers are as far as people that are in attendance and how long they're in attendance and what they're doing. It'll be interesting to see. So set your calendar. Again, that day is June 26, 2021, and it is from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, so Denmark time, or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in the U.S., or if you were in my lovely time zone, that is 7. No, that's not 7. It's 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Daylight Savings Time, whatever. It's 11 our time here in the Dallas, the whole way that goes the whole way up through that time zone. So that is us. And those of you that are on the East Coast, you are 12 noon. You are high noon where the sun is highest in the sky at that point in time in the day. Anyway, yeah. So it's coming. Get ready for it, and get used to knowing what is happening and stuff like that. So on this episode, I want to talk about something else. It's news on a Tues, right? A few weeks ago, I had an opportunity to participate where I got to talk to designers and the people on the back end of Lego, the people that you don't get to see. You buy the products, you shop on the website, you see that. You get to talk to customer service. That's about as far as you get to go. I had an opportunity to talk to people behind the scenes, and that's what I did. The Bricks and Bits podcast that talks about the Lego games and all of that kind of cool stuff that Lego has done throughout its history, from early computer games to different console games to whatever, maybe Game Boy, if you had a Game Boy back then. And the way this works is the podcast is talking about each individual game, its history and where it came from, and talking to different people associated with it. And it's been a big hit. It is something that I have loved listening to. I love podcasts. I wouldn't be here if I didn't, but I really enjoy listening to other podcasts that are out there. And this is really well done. And it also has a lot of interesting information. There's a lot of Lego games that I have never even played, that I have never even heard of. So if you haven't heard of Bricks and Bits, you need to go and you need to click download or play, or wherever you're wherever you're listening to this right now. You need to find that as well if you have not. There's some cool stuff. Even if you're like, you know what, I'm not into games, it's really not my thing, you might be inspired. You might be interested. But with that in mind, here's the thing. They're doing only so many episodes. There's only so many Lego games. And my question to them was, how long is this thing going to continue? Are we talking this is just going to be like a 20 episode miniseries, then it's going to move along and you're going to do something else? And the answer was no. By the end of the year, 2021, this thing is planned on wrapping up and being dead on arrival, DOA, finished, kaput, whatever you want to call it. And it makes me sad. I understand why. You don't want to drag this out. There's really nothing else to talk about once you're finished with the games and stuff like that. Maybe you have an offshoot and you have another podcast that comes out with something else. There is always that. And that works too. So you have that opportunity to be able to do that. And it's an interesting idea. So I know you're like, okay, enough of that. We already heard enough. We don't care. It's just another podcast. You're like, I'm number one with the Bricks Inc. podcast. I don't want to, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But with that said, there were some other things that were discussed. There are some very important things. So here's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about a few different things, but specifically, I wanted to talk about play. And play is important. Play is important for just the general person. Play is important for the young person, the old person, the middle-aged person. It's important for the special needs person, the typically developing person. It's important for everybody. And what I found exceptionally interesting was there is a program that is out there for individuals. It has not made its way around the world yet. It's basically still stuck in the UK, and hopefully it does make its way elsewhere. But It is an opportunity for play and using Lego as a medium where you have an opportunity to be able to play with Lego and create and learn and build and have fun and create and be with other people that are like-minded and discuss your builds. It's a way to be able to bring people together. Now, when I say people, I'm not talking about you and me. I'm talking about young kids. I'm talking about school-age children. And give me a minute. I'm going to get on my soapbox, okay? As an elementary school teacher, what you notice the difference between kids, right? You notice this kid is higher, this kid is lower as far as academics. This kid is higher socially, this kid is lower socially. And it's just something we do as humans. So when you take that into account, you're like, well, how do I reach this kid? How do I reach this kid? I've got 20-something kids that I have to reach, right? If you're in a classroom, you have 20-something kids, at least here in Texas, maybe more elsewhere. And you have to be able to reach them. You have to be able to connect. You have to be able to make those awesome brain-to-body connections so that you can understand one another and moving forward so they can get the best out of themselves and you can get the best out of them and they can get the best out of you. It's this whole weird dynamic. And the idea of creating this system, this network, this program that allows kids, typically and non-typically developing students, to be able to participate, to be able to bring out their ideas, to be able to bring out what they want to help other people understand their brain, their thinking, their mind, their imagination is huge. And that is exactly what has happened. So at day's end, play and growing and learning and all that kind of stuff with Lego, it's neurodivergent. These things are building upon itself. And the idea behind this is phenomenal. I asked the question, is this only going to be over there in Europe or is it going to make its way across the pond to the United States? And she said, in the future, this program will make its way across. And there will be more information when I have it at that point in time, because right now I'm not going to be, oh, hey, this is coming. And, 2 years later, you're like, where is it? I don't know. That's not my spot. But the idea behind it is phenomenal. And you have kids, not necessarily students, but you have kids that are able to play and learn and stuff like that. And like I said, we're talking about kids that have autism or diagnosed with autism. You have kids that have other special diagnoses and stuff like that, to be able to bring out the best that is in them using the Lego brick. Because at the end of the day, the Lego brick does so many things. We talked about Braille bricks before. We're talking about other things. Will uses bricks and he can feel and know what this is. And somebody tells him, this is a whole 2x4 brick. Yep, it sure is. This is that. It's very fantastic to know there's a company that is out there that can be able to reach kids on such different levels. Anyway, so lastly, powered up, Lego powered up. So much left to be desired, right? Well, at the end of the day, powered up is what powered up is. It can only go so far. And what you need is a quality device, right? You need a quality piece of engineering to be able to accomplish this kind of stuff. And Lego Powered Up was an interesting presentation. And what I mean by that is, it was different. It was completely unique. It was something unexpected. And here's what I want to do. I'm not going to be able to do this justice. I don't know enough of the powered up stuff. I don't do enough of the powered up stuff. I don't do the motor functions and all that kind of thing. What I want is you guys to go check out Racing Brick, YouTube, social medias. Go check out Racing Brick and Blesh. Blesh is a cool dude. He's very chill, very knowledgeable as far as technique, racing stuff, as far as the powered up stuff. He's going to have you covered. And I guarantee you, he knows quadruple bajillion times more than what I do of the powered up stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's not my realm. That's his realm. He knows. He knows the designers very, very well. They're like first name basis. Same with the Technic guys. They're like first name basis. They're like, oh, here comes Blesh. How can I help him? He knows a lot. So again, check out Racing Brick and you guys will be taken care of. So hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of what this segment's going to be a little bit about. Obviously, today was a little bit wonky. It's a little bit here and there and stuff. I wanted to share stuff from the fan media days and some of that kind of cool stuff, which, you know, there's going to be other things in the future that we discuss. Next week, we're going to talk about the Taj Mahal, because that has to do with something that I didn't know at the time that I built it and reviewed it. And the designer Rock was like, yeah, I wish you would have had an opportunity to wait and talk to me beforehand. I didn't know. So you'll have to stick around for next Tuesday and check out what that is all about, because it's going to be something you're going to be like, I didn't know that. If you bought it and built it, I guarantee you missed this. And I guarantee you're going to be like, that is some cool stuff. So as far as news on the twos goes, this is over.